Alright, so, I know this has been out online a while, but I decided to talk about do a review on the first two episodes of Star Wars Rebels, Spark of Rebellion. This was pretty good, I gotta say. I was really excited, with Greg Weisman on the project, and I have heard some stories here and there of some other things involving Weisman, which I will not talk about on here. We're not here to talk about, what goes on behind the scenes. We're here to talk about the show. Yeah, we're here to talk about the show. So, as you guys know, that this is supposed to be set in between the time period between episode 3 and 4, and the Empire is on the rise. So we start off with a character named Ezra, who I swear to God is literally Aladdin. He's like a young Force sense. It's like if you had Aladdin's body, shrank him down, and gave him the brain of Amadeus Cho. That is what he's like. They even call him a street rat. I'm like, dude, did they... Yeah, it's Aladdin if he was a Jedi. He is literally Aladdin if he was a Jedi. They even call him street rat. But yeah, so Ezra, the character of Ezra, he's like a little scavenger street rat, and he comes across a group of a rebel cell, more or less, who he thinks are just a bunch of scavengers. And after escaping the Empire, a group of Imperial soldiers, they decide, you know what, I'm going to stick around until you guys can drop me off at the point, you're going to drop me back off, right? To which they do, but however, this is when he discovers that, hey, these people were taking weapons and food as supplies for, a little town called Tarkin Town, which are basically people who were kicked out of their homes and brought to a little planet. And we discover a little bit more about Ezra and the people he's around. Pretty much Ezra... We don't really know much about Ezra. All that we know is that he has abandonment issues. He... throughout the episode, we see him kind of talk about, people don't do that, people don't come back for people, it's everyone man for himself. So you kind of get the sense that either his parents are dead and someone left him behind, or his parents just pretty much left him behind on their own. So, yeah, we also have the rebels, who are Kanan Jarrus, Zeb, and Sabine, Hera, and Chopper. Now, the other characters, let's start off with Kanan. Kanan is a Jedi Knight who survived Order 66, and now he leads a rebel cell. He is pretty much like, yeah, I gotta hide the fact that I'm a Jedi, or else they'll come after me. And he's pretty cool. I like his kind of stern attitude. He's a nice combination of Luke and Han. He's a pretty nice combination of Luke and Han. And also, it is cool to see a Jedi with a blaster. I mean, how he uses his lightsaber is also pretty badass. The other characters in here, Zeb, who is they don't really say his species, but he's kind of like he's like a reptilian version of a Wookiee, I guess you could say, voiced by Steve Blum, who's pretty much doing his... it's like a Cockney Wolverine. That's how I can say it, is that he's just basically doing a Cockney Wolverine. And he's also very much against Ezra. He even tries to kill him multiple times. And there's another great moment in here where he's like, where Ezra's looking at Jarrus and Hera, Kanan and Hera, as they're walking off, and he's like, where are they going? If I told you, I'd have to kill you. Or I may just kill you anyway. So, I like him. Then we have Sabine, who is a Mandalorian expert in weapons, combat, and explosives, and she's also a graffiti artist. I don't know what to say about her. All that we know is that her family is dead, and I'm kind of curious to know how they're going to explore the Mandalorian angle. They've kind of, in the animated series, what's the word I'm looking for, taken away a lot of the Mandalorian pride. I mean, there were some really kick-ass episodes in the Clone Wars revolving around the Mandalorians, but saying the whole, peace and love thing didn't fly with me, and I don't know if I'm feeling the whole graffiti artist Mandalorian. These guys were like if you guys remember, like, the extended universe, these guys were like the space Spartans. These guys took it to the Jedi long ago, and now I feel like they got a little declawed, but who knows? I put total faith in this series of saying that, hey, we Mandalorians are still badass, and I don't hate the character of Sabine, excuse me. I just don't know what to think of her right now. And she's the love interest for Ezra. That's about it. Then we have Hera, who is the pilot and pretty much the love. You can clearly tell that she and Kanan have a thing. She's a Twi'lek pilot of the ship called the Ghost, and then we have Chopper, who is a foul-mouthed R2 droid. He is a very angry droid. So that's all we know of the characters. So Ezra is forced alongside them to work alongside this group of Jedi. Not Jedi, because there's only Kanan who's a Jedi, duh. And yeah, they're forced to. He's pretty much roped into working with them, even though he still doesn't feel like, hey, people don't do this. It's better off on your own. And from there, we go back to the planet they had left, and we run into Agent Callus, who is from the Imperial Security Bureau, and he is sent to deal with anything involving a rebel cell. If there's something to do with rebels out there, he will crush it. And I like him. He's kind of like almost like an Azula type character, very cold, calculating, and very sure of himself, and also just downright just a bastard. So I think he's a pretty cool character. I know he's going to be kind of an underling when they bring in the Inquisitor, who, by the way, when I saw the Inquisitor, I was like, oh my god, I cannot wait for this character to whip some ass. Who's also, the character of the Inquisitor is being voiced by Jason Isaacs, which is another big plus. Another thing you guys are probably wondering, if this show is going to have people die, if you were afraid that they weren't going to have actual people get killed off in the show because it's a Disney show, and you're thinking, oh, they'll do the A-Team thing where they'll shoot around, or people will climb out of the ship before it explodes or something. No, you see people die. You see a lot of stormtroopers die. A lot of them fucking die. I mean, you clearly see people get shot. One guy gets caught in an explosion. Another guy gets kicked in the face and falls to his death. You clearly see stormtroopers die. So that's pretty good. So good on you, Disney, for keeping not only that, keeping not really gore, but keeping at least people. This is a universe where characters can get killed off, and plus you also have the consistency of stormtroopers cannot shoot for shit. They cannot in no way shoot for shit. I mean, there's one moment where Kanan is walking in front of a hail of laser fire from a group of stormtroopers, and he's just moving his head when one's about to hit, and they're just constantly missing. He's not even taken out his lightsaber yet, and they keep missing him. And he's just lightly dodging them. I know, you could say, yeah, it's the Force, but on the other hand, you'd have to be like one stormtrooper have to stop and say, can we hit anything with these guns? So I just wanted to bring that up. So anyway, their mission, more or less, is to find a group of Wookiees who were part of the Republic Army, and get them out of there. But it turns out to be it's a trap! And they're almost captured, which leads to Ezra, who's left behind by Zeb, and he's like, hey, I'm sorry, but I can't help you. And Ezra is taken aboard the Star Destroyer. Luckily, he manages to escape after listening to a Jedi holocron, which I should have mentioned earlier, but yeah, he discovers a Jedi holocron in Kanan's room, and he doesn't know what the hell to do with it, until he accidentally activates it, which we get to see Obi-Wan, who is voiced by the same voice actor from Clone Wars. So I think that's pretty cool of seeing him again, and seeing that quick cameo of Obi-Wan was kind of awesome, not gonna lie. And so they go back to the Star Destroyer, and they manage to get Ezra out of there and go out to find the real Wookiees, who are in this place called Kessel, which is all I could think about. Are they going to mention the Kessel Run at all? So they then head out to, which is Kessel is a slave pit. It's like a spice mine or something. And it's not good for Wookiees. And apparently it's like a concentration camp as well. So those Wookiees only they're estimated for only a few months of survival. So they go there, they head out to save the Wookiees. Kanan reveals that he's a Jedi, and they manage to get the Wookiees out of there. And then they decide to drop off Ezra. Ezra, by the way, steals Kanan's lightsaber again, and is about to head back home when he gets a message from Ezra saying that, hey, look, you clearly have the Force is clearly strong in you. come with us, I'll train you as my Padawan, and I'll teach you the ways of the Force. And Ezra agrees, and they head out once more. I really do like this show. Not a lot is known about the characters, but hey, it's a nice little action-filled pilot. I can't wait to see what's done with the Inquisitor, and I know I kind of skimmed through this review. I'm really sorry about that, but there wasn't really much to talk about in terms of characteristics and whatnot, and it really just ends with Agent Kallus telling the Inquisitor, hey look, we got a Jedi, what do you want me to do? Do nothing, I'll go down there and kick his ass. So, that's really all we get. It was nice to see the little Star Wars mentions. We get a mention of, there will be a new hope. We also get, it's a trap! And we get the Force surrounds us, it penetrates us, and it binds us. We get all of those little tropes, but at least it doesn't feel forced. I don't mind when they mention little Star Wars things, but like that. But it didn't feel forced. Like it wasn't trying to be like, hey, it's a Star Wars show. It knows it's a Star Wars show. Thankfully, this show fully is aware of being a Star Wars show, but you can't help but go, nah, they said it's a trap. So yeah, in terms of being a Star Wars fan, I do like this. I might do episode reviews. I might start doing episodes review on this show. And it already got renewed for a second season before it even got off the ground. So wow. Anyway, so that's pretty much my review. I know it's kind of short for an hour-long premiere. Not a lot to talk about that was not anything major. The characters are all pretty cool. I'm pretty curious to see what goes on with all of them. The action was really fluid, and the story was really consistent. And I'm really curious to see what they're going to do. And I do know that we are going to see R2-D2, C-3PO, and Lando. We are going to see those characters. So I'm kind of curious to see what other characters will show up. Like, could we get Boba Fett? Could we get Han Solo and Chewbacca? Could we get some of the major characters or some of the background characters? I'm really curious to see where this goes. So you guys tell me, what did you guys think of the premiere of Star Wars Rebels? Did you guys like it? Did you guys hate it? And what characters do you want to see show up in Star Wars Rebels? Anyway, once again, hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will see you guys later.